Before the final reunion, Divine Masculine will step in very subtly to test the energy and frequency. Now, we often talk about the energetic wall that comes up in the first separation when you, as the Divine Feminine, are thrown into dark night of the soul and ego death. But what we don't often hear about is the energetic wall that comes up for divine feminine. And this comes up later on. This energetic wall is when the divine feminine has come fully into inner union. At this point, divine masculine will often subtly come in to test the frequency of the divine feminine. At this point, it's really key that the divine feminine holds that light frequency and doesn't go into another looping energy of chasing frequency. This journey is a journey of the balancing and creating that equilibrium of the one energetic system. Remember, this is a dance of the one soul, and you're learning how to balance it here in the 3D. In those first few weeks and months, it will feel chaotic for the divine feminine. But the more that you bring the energy back to you and you start to align with soul, that is when the nervous system starts to regulate. And that's when you step and you move from that ego way of living and the mind way of living, a very dense 3D way of living, into a soul led way of living, a singularity. And slowly but surely, you collapse down the polarity and you move into that single frequency. At this point, the nervous system starts to regulate. You start to come into that wholeness, that fullness, and you really start to understand what the journey is truly about. At this point, that energetic wall is then put in place for the divine feminine. And the reason why the energetic wall is there is because now it is the time for the divine masculine to do the inner work. That energetic wall almost like acts as a shield. And so the divine masculine cannot come in at that point in a very powerful way to cause chaos again. The divine feminine is holding the frequency, and yes, where the divine masculine may come in to test the frequency, the divine feminine is in a very balanced and regulated frequency and working deeply on soul purpose, working deeply, on why they came here on the earth, your inner standing of the whole universe and divine, and how you're walking the path of that human but also divine essence is now in a very deep inner standing. At this point, the divine feminine is no longer in desiring, wanting, chasing frequency. She stands, and I say she, but whether you are male or female, you still identify as that initial chasing frequency, i.e., the divine feminine. You're now holding the grids of light, you're holding the grids of the sacred frequency of the union. And at this point, divine masculine will come in to test that frequency, and it is for you to hold it in that sovereign energy, in that divine energy, knowing your light, knowing your power. For anybody who is struggling on the journey, trying to understand what is going on, feeling like you're endlessly searching, feeling like you're in chaotic energy, not understanding what is happening, on the 1st of October, we are starting a detox. We are diving deep into a full 30 days where I support you every single day. You can come along and join now because you'll get access to the Twin Flame course, which is the A to Z of the journey. It's not full of pink, fluffy stuff, though. It is the truth of the journey. It's there to help you balance the shared energetic field, come back into your strong, powerful frequency. And those codes that now are awakening on the earth, that are now rising up, that remembering frequency of the divine sacred feminine, you will learn how to step into that frequency, how to hold that light, so you don't spin out into those looping, chaotic energies of the runner chaser, the endless searching. You will release that and come into your divine sacred power. And if you're ready to go even deeper than that, well, we do an awful lot of work as well with soul purpose, growing a soul led business, really creating, that freedom, abundant frequency, what you came here to be. Remember, the twin flame journey is an awakening, it's an activation. It's an activation for you to step into your light, into your full sacred sovereign frequency as that powerful divine feminine. If you need more help and support, my website is there. So three W's, catsacredsoul.com. It's there to help and support you, not to keep you stuck in that. Why is this journey happening? I feel so lost. I feel like the journey is happening to me. Instead, it will change, it will alchemize the frequency, so you go, this journey happened for me, and I reclaim my light, I reclaim my power, and I step into my divine sacred frequency as that divine feminine. I send you much love. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Many blessings.